Korea's GDP per capita is estimated to have surpassed the $36,000 mark last year, with projections indicating it will exceed $37,000 this year.
작년 우리나라 1인당 국내 총생산 GDP가 3만 6천 달러에 진입한 것으로 추산되며 올해는 3만 7천 달러를 넘어설 것으로 전망됩니다.
Right. So per capita GDP is basically the average output of a country per person. And for Korea, that exceeded $36,000 last year. It's a 1.28% increase, so a slight increase compared to the year previous. And if you want to compare that to other countries in Asia, it actually surpasses that of Japan and Taiwan, interestingly enough. The first time Korea actually surpassed $30,000 in per capita GDP was back in 2016. So within 8 years, we've increased about a little more than $6,000 this year. But it's still just shy of the previous high, which was back in 2021, when per capita GDP reached over $37,500 here.
Well, it looks like at the end of this year, we may be able to reach that mark again.
Possibly.
That is a projection that's been made.
Yeah, there's a lot said about per capita GDP and whether, remember, it's average output. So a lot of people misconstrue it as thinking it's the average income that people make. But it's the average amount that the country produces per person. So it's sort of with these instruments and tools, how you want to interpret it. You can say that, does it really relate or equate to how people are living? Probably not.
All right, let's have a look at the first term, which is to estimate.
To estimate here as a verb would mean to approximate or to, when something's not certain, it's believed to be or valued in this case.
Yeah. ETA is an abbreviation you'll maybe use with your friends. It's something you use with flights or anything where you're traveling. And that's estimated time of arrival.
Yes.
도착 예정 시간. So sometimes I'll text my friends, when I'm supposed to meet them at, say, 3 p.m., but I'm going to be a little bit late. So I'll be ETA 3:10 or 3:15 or something.
It's also the title of a very famous song by New Jeans.
Is it?
It asks, what's your ETA? Yes, what's your ETA? What's your ETA?
I think
and that's
I've
what
heard
it means.
that.
Yes.
Thank you
Come
for
on, get with
enlightening me.
Yes.
I see.
Right. Your GPS navigation system might also indicate what your ETA is. Right?
That's right. 네. 도착 예정 시간 estimated라는 게 이제 추정하다. 그러니까 대략적으로 이럴 것이다 하는 이제 그 추정을 얘기하거든요. 그래서 estimated time of arrival.
Yeah, and as a pronunciation sort of tip, as a verb, when you estimate something, but as a noun, you can call it an estimate.
Yes.
There's a slight difference there.
명사일 때는 estimate가 아니고요. estimate라고 뒤에 발음이 좀 달라집니다.
Estimate.
estimate. 이렇게. 자, 그다음에 indicate.
Something's indicating something. It's displaying something, or it could be a mark of something or a sign or a symptom of something.
네. Indicating something. And driving this morning, I used my indicator a couple of times when I wanted to turn left or turn right.
Yeah.
So
That's a British term, by the way.
Oh, is it? What do you call it?
Turn signals.
Turn signal.
Yes.
Blinkers.
Yeah. Indicators, no, not in North America.
아, 진짜요? 그렇구나. 방향지시등.
Yes.
네, 이거를 이제 인디케이터라고 하기도 하는데 북미권에서는 turn signal.
Or blinkers.
blinkers는 그냥 깜빡이라는 뜻이에요. 우리도 이제 이렇게 별명으로 말하잖아요. 그런 같은 느낌입니다. 저도 운전하면서 오늘 깜빡이 여러 번 오른쪽, 왼쪽 이렇게 방향지시등 켜고 들어왔었는데 그럴 때 이제 알려주는 거잖아요. indicate라는 건 알려준다는 뜻이거든요. 뭔가 나타내다, 알려주다. 저 우회전합니다. 좌회전합니다. 이렇게 알려주는 거. 그런데 이제 데이터일 때는 무언가를 나타내다. 이렇게 해석을 하면 되겠죠. 자, 그러면 제가 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Korea's GDP per capita is estimated to have surpassed the $36,000 mark last year, with projections indicating it will exceed $37,000 this year. All right, moving on. This is our next headline.
More than 16 million foreign nationals visited the country in 2024, marking a 50% increase from the previous year and nearly returning to pre-pandemic levels, according to the Korea Tourism Organization.
지난해 우리나라를 찾은 외국인 관광객이 1,600만 명을 넘어서며 전년 대비 50% 증가해 코로나19 이전 수준을 거의 회복한 것으로 나타났다고 한국관광공사가 밝혔습니다.
Yeah, so 16.37 million to be exact. And
okay.
like the headline says, that's a 50% jump from the previous year, 2023.
Right.
And if with these tourism figures, a lot is compared to the pre-pandemic levels. So 2019 and before, we're just about at that level. So 94% of 2019 levels. So you could say that the tourism industry here has nearly recovered to pre-COVID-19.
Yeah, because during COVID, the travel industry saw virtually nothing happening.
Almost
right?
literally.
Yeah.
I think 2021, it barely even reached 500,000 in Korea. And obviously,
Sure, 'cause no one was traveling.
No one was traveling, quarantine restrictions, things like that. So if you want to break it down by country, just looking at last month, December,
Yeah.
2 months ago now, China was the number one destination for incoming tourists, as followed by Japan, Taiwan, the U.S., and Singapore. And on the flip side, the number of South Koreans going abroad last year reached 28.69 million, which is well above pre-pandemic levels now.
Yeah.
So outbound travel has definitely surpassed 2020 levels.
You know, can we stop for a minute and think about, the pandemic and COVID?
Yeah.
And now we can casually talk about it
Sure.
as if it's something in the past. But during those couple of years, it felt like it would never end.
It seemed like an eternity.
It did. And it really was life-changing for so many people, for the globe as
Yeah,
well.
absolutely.
I knew a couple of people who had to travel because of business during the time. And every time they needed so much paperwork,
Yeah.
to prove they were healthy and able to travel to certain places. And the rest of the world was
Yeah.
pretty much stuck at home.
Yeah, in hindsight, it's almost laughable that we had to live through that. But of course, during the times,
Yeah.
it was absolutely necessary to try and curb the spread of this deadly virus. But yeah, it does. In hindsight, we can't believe we all lived through that.
I
Yeah.
know, exactly.
Yeah.
자, 그래요. 코로나 이전 수준 거의 비슷하게 지금 우리나라를 찾은 외국인 관광 수가 굉장히 많이 늘었습니다. 지금 이 표현들 그럼 한번 볼까요? Returning to pre-pandemic levels부터 보겠습니다.
Yeah. So if you're returning to pre-pandemic levels, we're talking about using COVID-19 as a benchmark. And oftentimes because that period of time in history is really an anomaly,
Yeah.
right? And so especially in the tourism industry, like I mentioned, this we sort of want to use this point in time as a benchmark to compare whether we've recovered or not from that time.
Exactly. Pre-pandemic levels. 많이 본 표현이죠. 팬데믹 이전 수준, returning to pre-pandemic levels. 그 수준을 회복하다. And foreign nationals?
Yeah, a foreign national, if you want to look at the dictionary definition of it, it's a person who is not a naturalized citizen of the country in which they're living. In this case, we're talking about tourists or incoming non-Koreans.
Yeah.
But without, of course, getting too much into immigration law, foreign national is a term that's often used in these circumstances when we're talking about people in citizenship
Yes,
and
that's right.
incoming non-Koreans.
So the difference between a foreign national and a foreigner
Sure.
could be that this person maybe, looks different or was born in a different country but has a Korean passport.
Right.
In that case, they could still be a foreigner but a Korean national.
Sure.
But a foreign national is someone who holds a passport from a different country.
Right. So for all intents and purposes, a foreign national, foreigner, they can be interchanged.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when you talk foreign national, you get the sense that we're talking specifically about immigration and travel and citizenship.
네, 일반적으로는 그냥 다 foreigner라고 통용을 하지만 이제 아주 엄밀히 따지자면은 foreign national은 외국 국적을 가진 사람이 되겠죠. 그다음에 이제 더 우리가 테크니컬하게 얘기한다면은 alien
Yeah.
이라는 표현도 쓰기도 합니다.
Yeah, that's
그렇죠?
definitely technical. And, I've made my opinions be known about the word foreigner in
Yeah,
general because foreigner has that sort of
이방인 느낌이
sort
있어요.
of.
맞아요.
So, I like to say, a visitor to the country or a guest,
okay.
I think that's a little more softer, euphemistic.
사실 우리가 워낙 많이 쓰기 때문에 이 단어의 뜻을 간과하기가 쉬운데요. foreign이라는 말은 사실 낯설다. 이런 의미가 있어요. 형용사로 썼을 때. 그렇기 때문에 foreigner는 나랑 너무나 다른 사람, 이방인이라는 뉘앙스가 단어 안에 원래 있어요.
Yeah, it becomes an us versus them sort of
맞아요.
situation.
우리랑 다른 사람.
Yeah.
이 뉘앙스가 있을 수 있기 때문에 그래서 이제 셰인 선생님이 요 미묘한 차이가 있다. 그래서 이제 foreigner보다는 그냥 visitor.
Yeah.
이렇게 쓰는 거를 선호한다라고 하셨어요. 참고만 하시면 될 것 같고 그러나 이제 우리가 일상 대화 속에서는 워낙에 foreigner라는 말을 많이
Sure.
또 쓰다 보니까 괜찮습니다. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. More than 16 million foreign nationals visited the country in 2024, marking a 50% increase from the previous year and nearly returning to pre-pandemic levels, according to the Korea Tourism Organization.
U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered sweeping tariffs on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China, kicking off a trade war that could dent global growth and reignite inflation.
도널드 트럼프 미국 대통령이 멕시코와 캐나다, 중국 상품에 대한 전면적인 관세 부과를 최종 결정했습니다. 이로써 무역 전쟁이 시작되면서 글로벌 성장이 타격을 입고 인플레이션이 다시 악화될 수 있다는 우려가 나오고 있습니다.
Yeah, so this was the biggest headline over the weekend after U.S. President Trump signed 3 executive orders imposing 25% tariffs on all Mexican and Canadian imports, or most, I should say, and 10% on goods from China starting this week. And of course, in retaliation, Mexico and Canada are not sitting idly by. They vowed to retaliate with
Right.
their own tariffs, while China says it's ready to counter Trump's move, but also they'll take measures through the WTO, the World Trade Organization. So it looks like the beginning of a major trade war that has global implications, including here in South Korea.
And this has been long anticipated ever since I think Trump's
Yes.
campaign for presidency.
Yeah, no surprise here. He's been announcing this. And a lot of economists, most economists, I think, will argue that this will result ultimately in higher prices of goods for not just U.S. consumers, but also Canadian and Mexican.
Yeah.
And because the way tariffs work, of course, it's not that you're taxing the country that's exporting it, but it's the importer that actually pays that tariff. And ultimately, that cost is passed down to the consumer.
Yep. So it's a sweeping tariff. So we're
Yeah.
looking at tariffs on all goods from Mexico and Canada
Yeah.
and China.
With very few exceptions, meaning that something's sweeping, it's wide ranging, it's across the board, and it's
Yep.
all encompassing, it's comprehensive.
sweeping이라는 거는요. 전면적이다라는 뜻인데요. 원래 sweeping은 빗자루로 이렇게 휙쓴다라는 뜻이 있어요. sweep라는 게. 그래서 sweeping the floor 그러면 이제 바닥을 쓰는 거예요. 그런 것처럼 이제 전반적인 것을 다 커버하는 것 이런 의미라고 볼 수 있겠죠.
Right. A clean sweep would be 싹쓸은. Right?
그렇죠.
Yes.
약간 싹쓸이의
Yes.
느낌. 네, 맞아요. A clean sweep.
Sure.
네. 그래서 여기서 말하는 sweeping victory 이런 말도
Yeah.
쓰죠.
That
네.
means it's a very dominating win. Yeah.
그 압도적인 표차로 압승을 했을 때 쓰는 표현이기도 한데 그런 이렇게 확 쓸어 담는 느낌 요 이미지 생각하시면 되고
Yeah.
여기서 말하는 게 멕시코와 캐나다와 중국에 관해서 이제 여러 가지 이제 관세들이 부과될 텐데 거의 모든 그 수입품에 해당이 된다 이런 의미겠죠.
Yeah, another expression I've heard a lot is it's a blanket tariff. It blankets.
blanket.
It covers almost all goods and services. Right? Goods.
blanket tariff라고 표현할 수도 있겠습니다. 또 참고로 좀 말씀을 드리자면은 universal tariff랑은 좀 달라요. universal tariff는 모든 나라에 해당된다고 볼 수 있을 것 같아요. 컨텍스트가 물론 필요하겠지만 universal이라고 하면은 왠지 전 세계적으로 다
Yeah.
어느 나라에나 다 해당된다. 요 느낌이 있기 때문에 요것만 좀 구별하시면 되지 않을까 싶은 생각이 듭니다. 그다음에 dent라는 표현도 한번 볼까요?
Yeah, so if something's denting, it has a weakening effect on something. So literally, if something dents something, you can get physical damage, like on your car, like your bumper. But figuratively here, that means more there's an emotional or, in this case, a financial impact.
덴트 그 차량 수리하는 곳에 보면 가끔 이제 덴트 수리 이렇게 되어 있잖아요. 움푹 파인 거죠.
Yeah.
움푹이라고 해야 되나?
It's a slight,
살짝
right?
파인
So,
거. 예.
in Korea, you have the munkkok, right? When you park very close to another car,
right,
it can
right.
dent another car
Yeah.
by opening your door too hard.
맞아. 그래서 이게 차가 살짝 이렇게 들어갔을 때 D-E-N-T, dent, it's been dented, there's a dent in the car 이렇게 보통 명사로 쓰기도 하지만 또 동사로도 쓸 수 있습니다.
My feelings have been dented.
Oh, why?
You can say. For example.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
갑자기
Yeah.
내가 좀 마음이 상했어.
Yes.
이런 뜻이겠죠. 그래서 훼손하다의 의미로도 해석할 수 있겠습니다. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. US President Donald Trump has ordered sweeping tariffs on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China, kicking off a trade war that could dent global growth and reignite inflation. Now let's move on to the next headline.
Switzerland tops The Economist's biannual Big Mac Index, which measures purchasing power by converting Big Mac prices into US dollars, while Argentina, second overall, leads when adjusted for income.
경제 주간지인 이코노미스트가 6개월마다 발표하는 빅맥 지수에서 스위스가 1위를 차지한 가운데 2위를 차지한 아르헨티나는 소득을 감안하면 1위에 해당하는 것으로 나타났습니다. 빅맥 지수는 전 세계 맥도날드 매장의 빅맥 햄버거 가격을 미국 달러로 환산한 것으로 구매력을 측정하는 데 사용됩니다.
Yeah, so this is
Tell us more, yeah.
Yeah, it's a humorous way. It started back in the 80s when The Economist, this magazine, published this index, and it's a sort of the easiest way to describe this. It's a way to measure the market exchange rate for different countries' currencies and whether they're overvalued and or undervalued using the price of a Big Mac as the base. And the reason they use the Big Mac, of course, is because Big Macs are sold all over the world. And it's sort of standardized. That's what McDonald's, of course, is known for as a global franchise. The taste of a Big Mac in one country tastes the same in a different country. And so it's used as a sort of a comparison. And if you look at the numbers here, it showed that Switzerland, it costs about over $8 in Switzerland for one Big Mac, whereas in the U.S., it was about $5.69. And in the Euro area, it's over $6. Here in Korea, my last time I'm visiting, I think it's under 6,000 won here. I think it's about 5,900 won. So based on that, it shows that Switzerland, their currency is extremely overvalued, whereas if you compare it with the country's GDP, Argentina comes in second.
Okay.
There's a lot to digest there.
Yeah, exactly. So that means in Switzerland, just across the board,
Yeah.
the Big Mac is more expensive.
Yes.
And that means that the currency, the Swiss franc,
Yeah.
is overvalued.
So the Swiss franc, if you hold Swiss currency, that means you can you have more power with that currency.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let's have a look at this expression here. This is a biannual report.
Yes. So the Economist publishes this twice a year, meaning that it's biannual, or you can call it semi-annual. Now, this is often confused even for native speakers because biannual can also mean every 2 years. So to distinguish that, there's another word you can say biennial, which is once every 2 years.
Biannual and biennial.
Yes. So biannual, you can just think of it as twice a year. Biennial is once every 2 years. And you can think, this reminds me of the Gwangju Biennale,
Yeah, yes.
which occurs every 2 years. And Biennale is actually, the meaning of it is a large art exhibition that happens every 2 years because in Italian,
Yeah.
Biennale means biennial.
네, 그렇죠. 이탈리아어로 이제 biennial을 한 게 비엔날레거든요. 비엔날레가 2년에 한 번씩 열리죠. 그래서 그렇게 외우시면 됩니다. biennial, E가 들어간 단어는 2년에 한 번씩이다. 그리고 biannual, A로 시작되는, B-I-A로 시작되는 이 단어는 연 2회 라는 의미가 되겠습니다.
Yeah, and in case you were wondering, the Olympics is a quadrennial event. Happens
every 4
every
years.
4 years. And back in 1960s, Canada celebrated their centennial, which was the 100-year anniversary of Canada.
그랬군요. 1960년에 캐나다가 100주년을 기념했다고요?
1967, I think.
Is it such a young country?
Well, from British rule.
Okay.
That's where. Well, we won't go into the history of that.
And purchasing power?
Yeah, purchasing power simply is the financial ability to buy products and services. And if you want to, if you're an economist, you have this instrument called the purchasing power parity, which is a way to measure the relative cost of living between nations, adjusted for price level differences.
그렇죠. purchasing power라는 게 바로 구매력이 되겠습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Switzerland tops the Economist's biannual Big Mac index, which measures purchasing power by converting Big Mac prices into US dollars, while Argentina, second overall, leads when adjusted for income. Now let's move on to the final headline.
Rat populations have spiked in cities worldwide with warming temperatures resulting from climate change or urban heat islands, according to a recent study.
전 세계 도시에서 쥐떼가 급증하고 있다는 최근 연구 결과가 나왔습니다. 이는 기후변화 혹은 도시 열섬 현상으로 발생한 따뜻한 기온 때문인 것으로 알려졌습니다.
Yeah, so researchers, what they did was they analyzed public complaints and inspection data in 16 cities worldwide, and they've noticed that there's a correlation between, I guess, the climate and the heat and temperatures in these cities and the rat population, because rats like warmth, much like people. And so it creates certain conditions for rats to actually breed. And of course, this, we all know rats are a big nuisance. These vermin are thought to, just in general, it messes with the human's psyche when you see a rat. I have noticed a big spike in rats near our neighborhood too.
Really?
I don't know where that comes from. I have noticed a decline in the number of sort of cats in the neighborhood, so I don't know if there's a correlation there.
Could be, yeah,
But but I have seen a large number of rats in my neighborhood.
My goodness.
Yeah.
There is a difference between rats and mice, although in Korean they're both G. Rats are bigger.
I don't know the scientific difference, but when you say a mouse, you think of something very cute.
Yeah.
And like, cartoon characters. But a rat is like vermin, right? It's a
Which
pest.
means, yeah.
Yes.
그래요. 우리말로는 다 쥐지만 마이스는 생쥐, 작은 쥐를 말하고 rat는 좀 큽니다. 저는 rat 하면은 뉴욕이 제일 먼저 생각나긴
Oh, yeah.
하거든요. 그 유명하죠. 피자 같은 거 들고 다니고
Pizza rat.
네, 거의 뭐 강아지만 하다고 합니다. 작은 강아지 정도의 크기다. 뭐 이런 얘기를 들었는데 실제로 본 적은 없지만 뭐 그렇다고 합니다.
Yeah, there are videos of rats climbing on people in the subway.
What? Climbing on people?
Sleeping people, passengers,
goodness.
and
They're not
a
scared
rat.
of anything. They're like pigeons in Korea.
They've evolved to coexist with humans. Yes.
Interesting. All right, what's a spike?
A spike simply is a sharp increase. Stock prices can spike, but there are other meanings of this as a verb. If you spike a drink, for example, you're contaminating it with something foreign, right? Like an alcoholic beverage.
네. 스파이크라는 게 우리가 데이터가 나왔을 때는 갑자기 치솟다. 그래서 이게 뾰족하게 올라가는 차트 생각하시면 되고요. 그래프. 그런데 이제 스파이크의 또 다른 의미를 지금 설명해 주셨어요. 그건 뭐냐면은 음료에다가 뭔가를 탈 때,
Yeah.
네, 그때 또 스파이킹 한다고 합니다. So this drink was spiked. 그러면은 내 음료에 뭐 다른 거를 탔어. 뭐 이게 뭐 알코올이 될 수도 있고 뭐 다른 안 좋은 게 될 수도 있겠죠. Urban Heat Island 한번 볼까요?
Yeah, urban heat island's a phenomenon where a city has higher temperatures compared to its surrounding rural areas. So think of the city as an island, urban. There you
Yeah,
get it, and it's hotter than its surroundings.
도시 지역에서 발생하는 열섬 현상을 영어로 Urban Heat Islands라고 합니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. Rat populations have spiked in cities worldwide with warming temperatures resulting from climate change or urban heat islands, according to a recent study. Well, that's it for the headlines with Shane.
A cold spell gripped the nation on Monday, which coincided with Ipchun, or the onset of spring, according to the 24 seasonal divisions, with temperatures falling 3 to 10 degrees Celsius nationwide.
봄이 시작된다는 절기인 입춘과 겹친 어제 월요일 전국적으로 기온이 3도에서 10도까지 떨어지는 한파가 온 나라를 강타했습니다. And it's colder still today.
Yes, I think it's been the coldest, at least I've felt it this winter. It felt like a reasonably warm winter. In fact, we had some quite balmy days a couple of weeks ago. And certainly on the weekend, we had higher temperatures than normal, up to 2 to 5 degrees higher. However, yesterday, we were seeing Seoul drop down to minus 4.8, Incheon down to minus 4.9, Daejeon to minus 1.7. I think somewhere in northern Gyeonggi province and as well in Gangwon province, it was getting to minus 10 degrees. And it's going to be below zero. We're going to have heavy snow in the south, Jeju Island and Cholla province as well. And we're getting cold weather through to at least the middle of the week, at least till Wednesday.
네, 오늘도 또 내일까지도 계속해서 추울 것으로 예상이 됩니다. All right, cold spell is an expression you'll hear quite a lot when we talk about cold weather.
It's not magic, though.
No, because the spell can be magic. But
Yes.
in this case, we're talking about this temporary cold weather.
Yeah, it's a period of time.
한동안의 추위, 이거를 이제 cold spell이라고 하고요. It's gripping the nation.
Okay, let me get a grip on this.
Please.
Let me handle it. Because
Yeah.
the word grip, well, it's all to do with your fist. It's all to do with your hand, about holding something tightly, holding on to something. So if something grips something, or if something is in the grip of something, it means it is controlled by it, or that has power over it, or it has an effect on it. So we talk about a country being gripped by cold weather or gripped by a heat wave. It means the country is being strongly affected by this thing.
단단히 붙잡혀 있다라는 단어인데요. The cold spell is gripping the nation. 이렇게 날씨가 나라를 붙잡고 있다라는 얘기는 곧 굉장히 춥다라고도 해석을 할 수 있겠죠.
And if you watched a thriller over the holiday period, I hope it was gripping.
굉장히 이렇게 뭐라 그럴까요? 의자에서 그 딱 의자를 딱 붙잡고 뭔가 무서운 장면이
Yeah.
나올 것 같아. 근데 요런 느낌이 이제 gripping한 거예요.
But also, it's the film is gripping you. It's pulling you in.
압도하는,
Yeah.
압도라기보다는 매료하는 요 느낌인 것 같아요. 꼭 horror movie만 gripping 하나요?
Thrillers, horrors, mysteries, those are all gripping movies.
알겠습니다. Can you say a musical is gripping?
You could do, but gripping suggests there's some sort of strength or force to it. Yeah.
굉장히 강렬하게 사람을 이렇게 뭐라 그럴까요? 좀 긴장하면서 보게 만드는 그런 영화들 있죠. The movie is gripping. 이렇게 표현할 수 있겠고 또 하나 더 있습니다. grip 들어가는 표현 중에 get a grip.
Yeah.
이런 표현. 정신 차려. 이런 뜻이거든요.
Yeah, you can use it for yourself. Oh, I need to get a grip.
I need
just
to.
can't focus today.
내가 정신을 차려야 돼. I need to get a grip.
Yeah, but if you say it to someone else, if you say get a grip, Sue, that's not very polite.
Well, that's why I was smiling as I said it.
Yes.
Because when you say it, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
그렇죠? 이게 get a grip라는 게 그러니까 정신 붙들어매 뭐 이런 느낌이라고 보면 될 것 같아요. 그냥 붙잡다, 꽉 잡는 요 느낌이 grip입니다. 그래서 지금 동장군이 우리나라를 꽉 잡고 있는 모습, the cold spell, 지금 이 추위가 덮친 모습입니다. And the onset of spring is what it's supposed to be right now, according to Ipchun.
Yes, and onset is not two words, it's one word. O-N-S-E-T. And
Good
the
point.
onset of something is the beginning of something, the start of something. I mean, I don't know about you, Sue, but if I catch a cold, the onset of a cold usually starts with a tickly throat.
Yeah,
For me,
yeah.
I know there's a cold coming. I can feel the onset of a cold when my throat starts to go scratchy and tickly.
It's the same for me as well. 자, onset 한 단어 O-N-S-E-T인데요. 무언가 시작된다는 뜻이 있습니다. The onset of a cold는 감기 초기 증상이란 뜻이에요. 그래서 왠지 목이 좀 간질간질하거나 약간 침 삼킬 때 아프거나 이러면은 이제 알잖아요. 감기 걸린 것 같아.
Yeah.
이런 느낌.
Don't use it though in your everyday life for things like the onset of the movie is at 5:30.
No,
We don't use onset like this. We use it for when something is starting to change, is starting to happen. Use it for the weather. We use it for a physical change. We're not going to use it for the onset of your office day, for example.
그렇죠. 어떤 경우에도 쓸 수 있는 단어는 아니에요. 시작이라고 했다고 해서 뭐 영화가 시작됐다 때 이 단어 쓰진 않아요. 근데 onset는 무언가 개시가 됐다라는 느낌이 좀 있고요. 그 다음에 이 날씨 얘기하면서 지금 오늘 헤드라인 넘버 1에서 입춘 설명을 하고 있거든요. 우리가 들립에다가 이제 봄춘자를 쓰기 때문에 봄이 왔다라는 거잖아요. 이걸 영어로 최대한 잘 표현한 게 바로 the onset of spring입니다. 그래서 그냥 입춘을 설명한 것이다.
네.
이렇게 보시면 될 것 같아요. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼까요? A cold spell gripped the nation on Monday, which coincided with Ipchun, or the onset of spring, according to the 24 seasonal divisions, with temperatures falling 3 to 10 degrees Celsius nationwide. Now let's move on to the next headline.
More than 1.37 million workers were involuntarily unemployed in 2024 due to corporate bankruptcies, restructuring, or other management difficulties, according to Statistics Korea.
네, 통계청에 따르면 지난해 국내에서 137만 명 이상이 직장 폐업이나 정리해고, 사업 부진 등으로 원치 않게 직장을 떠난 비자발적 실업자인 것으로 나타났습니다. Tell us more.
Yes, so we have it's nearly 1,373,000 people were made unemployed involuntarily in 2024. That's an increase on year by about 106,000 people. It's also the first increase we've had in 4 years. And this is all to do with we've had sluggish domestic demand, we've had an employment slump, and that means we have more people being made redundant or losing their jobs due to bankruptcies, restructuring, and other issues. So when we look at the total amount, these involuntarily unemployed people account for 42.9% of unemployed people last year. So it's not through choice. Almost half of these people were losing their jobs involuntarily. And it's also 8.3 times the number of people who were retiring or who were, choosing to stop working because of their age. So we're seeing this slump. Hopefully this year will bring more voluntarily employed people.
There was another figure in the stats released, and that was the number of people working a minimal number of hours a week.
Yes, we're talking 18 hours a week, and that
Or
was
less,
that was up the high, over 2.5 million people. That's the first time it's been over that number. So we're seeing more people working less hours on a weekly basis.
전반적으로 봤을 때는 비자발적인 실업자 수는 늘어났는데 이게 보면은 이제 초단시간 근무자 18시간을 밑도는 이제 일주일에 18시간입니다. 그렇게 초단시간 근무하는 사람들은 늘었어요. 그래서 250만 명을 넘어섰다고 합니다. 비자발적이다라는 단어 영어로 한번 볼까요? Involuntary.
Yeah, let's start with the opposite, voluntary. Coming from volunteer. I think of the Hunger Games and Katniss raising her hand after her sister gets picked and says, I volunteer for tribute, meaning I will do it. I choose to do it. So if something is voluntary, you can choose to do it. You don't have to do it. If it's involuntary or something happens involuntarily, it means the person has no choice in the matter. They have to do it no matter what, whether they want it or not, it's going to happen. So for example, my wife involuntarily squeaks every time BTS comes on TV.
I'm like that with Sonny.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't mean to do it. You don't necessarily want to do it, especially if you have friends round. But it happens whether you like it or not.
Yeah, my kids love it. Whenever they see a poster of Sonny or a picture of Sonny, they'll show it to me because I go, Sonny! It's kind of squeal.
I feel like I need to be testing this out on air.
And so it's involuntary. I'm not waiting for that moment, but it just sort of just happens. It's a reaction sort of that comes naturally to me.
Is it?
Anyhow.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
Sonny!
That didn't feel so natural, Sue.
Alright. Involuntary라는 것이 그러니까 본의 아니게라는 의미가 있는 건데요. 여기서는 비자발적이다 이렇게 해석을 할 수 있겠고 우리가 자원봉사하는 거를 volunteer work라고 하죠. 자발적으로 하는 거니까. 자, 다음에 bankruptcy.
Yes, this is the official declaration that it's all over. It's all done with. Whether it's a person or a company, they're saying they cannot pay back what is owed, and therefore the company is going to fold up, it's going to stop, or the person is going to have to start again with a clean slate.
그래요. 자, 여기서 말하는 bankruptcy는 바로 파산이 되겠죠. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. More than 1.37 million workers were involuntarily unemployed in 2024 due to corporate bankruptcies, restructuring, and other management difficulties, according to Statistics Korea.
US business leaders are offering mixed reactions to the steep trade tariffs that the Trump administration has imposed on Canada, Mexico, and China, with the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal calling it the dumbest trade war in history.
미국 트럼프 행정부가 캐나다와 멕시코, 중국에 부과한 높은 무역 관세에 대해 세계 지도자들이 엇갈린 반응을 보인 가운데 월스트리트 저널은 이를 두고 사설에서 역사상 가장 어리석은 무역 전쟁이라고 표현했습니다.
Yeah, because of time zones, there has been a change while we were sleeping, so I'll update you as well. But first off, on Saturday, Donald Trump put in these tariffs. Canada and Mexico, he hit with a 25% tariff on imports, China with 10% on imports. And for Canada, it was about oil and energy products at 10%, but other things at 25%. The Wall Street Journal, one quote from them was, Mr. Trump's justification for this economic assault on the neighbors makes no sense. And we saw Justin Trudeau come out yesterday and say something quite similar. However, overnight Korea time, we've seen two postponements happen. Trump talked to the leader in Mexico and also talked to Justin Trudeau, and both of these tariffs have been postponed by 1 month. Reactions in the US have been mixed, but the consensus is, for example, at Yale University at the Budget Lab, they're going to say that these tariffs would cost the average American household something like $1,000 to $1,200 in annual purchasing power. So if these tariffs do go ahead, they will have a big impact on ordinary consumers, not just in the US, but also Canada, Mexico, and the rest of the world.
네. 여러 가지 반응이 나오고 있습니다. 반응이 엇갈리고 있다. There are mixed reactions.
Yes, and when we talk about a reaction, is how someone responds to something. And in this case, we're talking to a piece of news. We often have pundits giving their reaction. Having mixed reactions means there are both good, bad, and something in between. For example, as a movie director, you don't really want mixed reactions to your movie. You want a good reaction to your movie. You want everyone to love it, but that's not the case. Many movies have mixed reactions, meaning some people like them, some people don't.
네. 반응이 엇갈린다라는 거를 영어로 there are mixed reactions라고 표현을 할 수 있습니다. 자, 그다음에 editorial board 이 표현이 지금 나온 이유는 월스트리트 저널의 해당 기사 This is the dumbest trade war in history라는 이 기사를 누가 썼는가? 그래서 보면은 editorial board 이렇게 써 있거든요. 이게 뭘까요?
So the editorial board is a board of editors. And in news, an editor is different to other kinds of editors. Normally, when we think of an editor is someone who will edit a film or a document, will check it or change it or make it better. However, editors in newspapers, they often control a department, and they will be responsible for organizing the writers and saying you need to write about this, write about that. So they're some of the most important journalists on the newspaper. So this editorial board is basically the top journalists at the Wall Street Journal who've come together to say this.
네, 이 사설, opinion 섹션에 있었던 기사인데요. 그 사설을 누가 썼느냐를 봤더니 바로 이제 편집위원회, editorial board라고 써 있습니다. 누구의 이름이 들어가 있는 게 아니라. 그래서 그 표현입니다. 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. U.S. business leaders are offering mixed reactions to the steep trade tariffs that the Trump administration has imposed on Canada, Mexico, and China, with the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal calling it the dumbest trade war in history. Let's move on to the next headline.
Microsoft mogul Bill Gates has opened up about his life and named the end of his 27-year-long marriage to Melinda French Gates as his biggest mistake.
마이크로소프트 창업자 빌 게이츠가 자서전을 통해 자신의 삶에 대해 서술하면서 전 부인 멜린다 게이츠와 27년간의 결혼 생활 끝에 이혼한 것을 자신의 가장 큰 실수로 꼽았습니다. 사실 이 얘기는 이 자서전 출판을 앞두고 영국에서 했었던 인터뷰에서 직접 했던 얘기인데요. 선생님 설명을 좀 해주시죠.
Yeah, Bill Gates has been quite a private figure very often. He's not like some people who release tell-all autobiographies all the time. And so this is a big deal. His memoir Source Code is coming out. And he was interviewed by the Times of London, and he said that this divorce to his 27-year wife, Melinda French Gates, was the mistake he most regrets. They separated in 2021, saying their relationship was irretrievably broken. And before then, they'd been this power couple in terms of charity. We'd seen, the Gates Foundation with them working together. It was one of the world's largest private philanthropic organizations, helping people all over the world. So Gates, what matters to him? It's not his billions. It's not his computers. It's the fact that his marriage ended, and he regrets that the most.
맞아요. 그 Times of London이라는 그 잡지사, 신문사,
newspaper, yes.
신문사와의 인터뷰에서 이렇게 얘기를 한 거였군요. 영국에 가서 한 게 아니고. 그래서 이제 뭐 여러 가지가 후회가 되지만 그 중에서도 특히 와이프 멜린다 프렌치 게이츠와 이혼한 것이 내 인생에서 가장 내가 크게 실수한 것으로 좀 후회한다라는 얘기를 했다고 하고요. 그 자서전의 제목은 Source Code인데 그 안에 뭐 여러 가지 내용이 들어 있을 것 같네요. 지금 설명 들은 바대로 뭐 개인적인 내용도 들어 있겠지만 또 회사를 운영하면서 겪었던 여러 가지 에피소드들도 있을 것 같고요. 이제 마이크로소프트 뭐 CEO라고 하기도 하고 billionaire라는 호칭도 많이 붙고요. 그런데 여기서는 He's a mogul. He's the Microsoft mogul.
Yes.
What's a mogul?
M-O-G-U-L. This word mogul is one of the words we use to describe rich, important, powerful people. Tycoon, magnate, mogul are all words that can be used for successful billionaires. But we're usually going to use it for someone who's in business very often. So we talk about a movie mogul or or a clothing mogul or someone who is very important in this industry or this sector. Basically it means very rich, very famous, very important.
네, 거물, 굉장히 중요한 인물을 mogul이라고 합니다. And to open up.
Look, Sue, I've been meaning to tell you about this expression.
What?
I haven't been able to explain it to you before, but now I want to be really honest about it. I want to open my heart to you and tell you that the expression open up means exactly this, to talk really honestly about something you've never talked about before, usually in public.
Well, I'm touched. I'm moved. Thank you so much.
Now your turn to open up.
All right. So my secret is now. Opening up는 마음을 열어놓는다라는 뜻이 있기 때문에 이제 마음속에 있었던 얘기들을 이 책을 통해서 또 인터뷰를 통해서 했다는 거죠.
Yeah, it's an expression that we'll often see being used in media when a celebrity gives an interview about some particular topic, some private topic for the first time. They're opening up about this.
네, 마음을 터놓다. Open up. 자, 다시 읽어볼게요. Microsoft mogul Bill Gates has opened up about his life and named the end of his 27-year-long marriage to Melinda French Gates as his biggest mistake. Now let's move on to the final headline.
Researchers have warned that countries must unite to include space stewardship in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to address an escalating threat of orbital debris.
지구 궤도상에서 늘어나고 있는 위성 잔해 문제를 해결하기 위해 유엔이 채택한 지속 가능 발전 목표에 우주 쓰레기 관리를 추가해야 한다는 학계의 경고가 나왔습니다.
So we already have the UN's 17 Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, and these are about, protecting the world from the future in terms of ending poverty and hunger, in terms of combating climate change, of protecting our environment, our biodiversity. But these scientists, these researchers from universities and from NASA are saying space sustainability needs to be added to this list. Because we have over 100 countries in the world involved in space activities. Since the 1950s, when we first started getting up there into the stars, almost 20,000 satellites have been launched. And the big issue is collision. With so many bodies up there in the air, and by bodies I mean things, objects in orbit around Earth, there is a greater and greater chance that they will collide.
Yep.
And they will then fall down to Earth and cause who knows what kind of damage. They call these cascading collisions known as the Kessler syndrome, where it's literally just collision after collision after collision, could mean that whole areas of our orbit would become unusable.
Let's look at this term, Sustainable Development Goals, also shortened to SDGs.
Yes, so we have a goal is a target, something that we're aiming for. Development is about improving or making something better. And sustainable, we use this word a lot when we talk about saving the environment, means we can keep doing it. We're not going to use something that's going to run out. For example, fossil fuels are not sustainable, but wind power is. So sustainable development goals are things we can keep doing to make the world a better place.
네, 유엔에서 SDG라고 해가지고요. 지속 가능 발전 목표 이렇게 표현을 하고 있거든요. Sustainable Development Goals. 전 세계가 함께 목표로 해야 하는 것들, 전 세계를 어떻게 지속 가능하게 만들기 위해서 함께 해야 되는 그런 목표들이 되겠죠. Sustainable이라는 단어가 들어가면 지속 가능하다 이런 의미가 되겠고 escalating threat.
Oh, so a threat is some kind of danger, something that's going to cause us damage or cause us problems. And if it's escalating, well, think of an escalator in the subway or at a shopping mall, and think of the escalator going up, meaning it's increasing. If something is escalating, it is increasing in size. So you can have escalating profits, yahoo, your company is doing well. But if you have escalating threats, that means the threats are getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
그렇죠. escalating이라는 것은 반드시 위쪽으로 올라가고 있는 상승하고 있는 이미지 생각하시면 돼요. 에스컬레이터를 연상하면 되기는 하지만 이제 좀 헷갈릴 수 있는 이유는
네.
에스컬레이터 우리가 타고 올라가기도 하지만 또 내려오기도 하잖아요. 그러니까 에스컬레이터만 생각하시지는 말고 사실 영어의 escalate라는 단어는 반드시 올라간다라는 이미지를 가지고 있다는 겁니다.
I'm sorry, Sue. I was wrong, and I don't want you to be angry, so I'm going to de-escalate the situation now.
아, 그렇죠. 상황이 한참 고조됐을 때 그거를 누그러뜨리는 거를 de-escalating이라고 합니다. 그렇다고 해서 우리가 Let's get on the de-escalator 이렇게 말하진
안 돼.
않아요. 그거는 또 별개입니다. 자, escalating threat는 늘어나고 있는 위협. 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Researchers have warned that countries must unite to include space stewardship in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals to address an escalating threat of orbital debris. All right, well, that's it for the headlines.
Online shopping sales in Korea hit a record high in both value and proportion in 2024, according to Statistics Korea, driven by strong demand for food services and travel.
통계청 집계에 따르면 음식 서비스 및 여행 수요 증가에 힘입어 지난해 국내 온라인 쇼핑 거래액과 거래 비중이 모두 역대 최대 규모를 기록한 것으로 나타났습니다.
Yep. So I guess people are spending more money online. So, and they say that it is because of surging demand for food services and travel, as we mentioned. So they say the value of online shopping transactions amounted to 242.9 trillion won, which is approximately 166.6 billion US dollars last year, and that was up 5.8% from the previous year, and it marks the highest level since Statistics Korea began compiling relevant data back in 2001. But they did note that the pace of growth has slowed, largely due to a significant drop in demand for e-coupon services, which fell 15.4% year on year.
There was that big scandal, of course.
Yes. So they say that online sales had surged 20.2% back in 2021, followed by a 10.3% increase in 2022, and then an 8.3% rise in 2023. So we are kind of seeing a steady drop in the percentage there. And they say, as we mentioned, the latest increase was largely driven by higher demand for food and groceries, which rose 14.8% on year, while sales from food delivery services grew 10.9%. I think a lot of people are choosing to deliver in rather than eat out these days. Travel and transportation services saw a 9.3% increase in sales compared with the previous year. We've been mentioning that a lot of people are traveling more, so I think that kind of goes hand in hand. Purchases made through smartphones, tablets, and other mobile devices rose 27.9% on year to 182.36 trillion won in 2024. And they say that in December alone, the value of online shopping transactions went up 3.2%. That could probably be because of the whole holiday season.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that I'm no stranger to online shopping.
Oh, yes.
And I do a lot of grocery shopping online.
Yeah, I do
now.
most of my grocery shopping
Yeah.
online. Yeah.
And so it was no surprise, although actually I was a little bit surprised to see that so many people do exactly what I do, because I do still see a lot of people going to the offline stores.
Yeah.
And, you know, the supermarkets still have a lot of customers, but I guess more and more now people prefer to shop online.
Yeah, well, it's so quick, and
It
it
is.
comes. It's
It's
actually
convenient.
easier, than
Yeah.
you going to the store, picking out your stuff, carrying it to your car, and then carrying back up home. So it makes sense.
Yeah. 그래요. 이렇게 온라인 쇼핑 거래액이 최대를 기록했고, 그다음에 전체 소비 중에서도 온라인 쇼핑이 차지하는 비율도 굉장히 컸습니다.
Yep.
온라인 쇼핑을 또 이제 따로따로 분야별로 보게 되면은 가장 사람들이 쇼핑을 많이 한 그 부분이 음식료품, 또 음식 서비스 이런 데에 있어서 온라인 쇼핑을 좀 많이 했다라고 볼 수 있을 것 같아요. online 이 단어가 영어에서는 반드시 N 발음을 해줘야 돼가지고 online 이렇게 발음을 하지만 또 우리말로 바꿨을 때는 온라인이라고 발음 많이 하잖아요. 리을 발음으로 이렇게 바뀌어가지고. 그러나 이제 영어에서는 그런 현상이 없다는 거 주의해 주시면 될 것 같습니다. 온라인 그러면은 못 알아들을 거예요. 아마 online 반드시
online, yeah.
네, 이렇게 하셔야 된다는
Yeah.
거. 표현 보겠습니다. Hit a record high.
Yeah, when something hits a record high, it means to reach a record high. So it means to reach the highest level or the highest amount that something has ever been.
최고치를 기록하다. Hit a record high. 만약에 최저치를 기록했으면 hit a record low. 자, food services.
Food services here in this case, I think it's kind of this broad umbrella where, it's referring to not just delivery services of food, but also just like shopping for groceries as well. But food services in general, it refers to the preparation, delivery, and serving of food and beverages to the public. It can also refer to businesses that provide these services.
그렇죠. 음식 서비스를 그대로 food services라고 표현을 할 수 있겠습니다. 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. Online shopping sales in Korea hit a record high in both value and proportion in 2024, according to Statistics Korea, driven by strong demand for food services and travel. Now let's move on to the next headline.
The Bank of Korea discarded roughly 3.4 trillion won's worth of damaged or contaminated banknotes last year, which, if stacked together, would reach a height 23 times greater than Mount Everest.
한국은행이 지난해 훼손되거나 오염된 화폐를 3조 4천억 원 가까이 폐기 조치한 가운데 이를 모두 쌓으면 에베레스트 산의 23배 높이에 달하는 것으로 알려졌습니다. Okay, so that's a lot of money that was discarded.
That was thrown away. There is no need to throw all this money away. They could have given it to me.
But it was in very bad condition,
Yeah,
right?
so they do throw away or they discard money, damaged banknotes, basically. You will not be able to use this money anywhere. But according to a report, the central bank discarded approximately 474.89 million currency units last year. Of the total, 373.36 million were banknotes valued at 3.36 trillion won, while 101.53 million were coins worth 118 billion won. And they say among the banknotes, the manwon or 10,000 won bills made up the largest portion, with 197.04 million notes accounting for 52.8% of all disposed banknotes. And it kind of makes sense because if you look in your wallet, I'm sure if you do carry around cash, probably the 10,000 won notes will be the largest proportion in your wallet as well. And to illustrate just how much the volume of all this cash that was discarded, the BOK said that if all the bills were laid end to end, like if they were laid straight all in a row, they would stretch 55,906 kilometers. That's quite long. So they said that it's long enough to go back and forth on Korea's main expressway 67 times. And if they were stacked vertically, that means one on top of each other, they would reach 203,701 meters, and that's 23 times the height of Mount Everest.
그러니까 이 지폐를 만약에 옆으로 나란히 늘어놓게 된다면 이 총 길이가 에베레스트 산의 23배 정도가 된다. 이런 거죠. 이제 경부고속도로 한 67회 왕복할 수 있는 거리라고 합니다.
Yeah, if
이
they
돈을-
were laid side by
그렇죠.
side.
네,
yeah.
이제 긴 쪽으로 나란히 늘어놓게 되면 그렇다라는 얘기고요. 이 뭐 훼손되거나 오염된 화폐라는 것은 이를테면은 불에 탄 화폐,
Yeah.
습기로 인해서 도저히 사용할
Yeah.
수 없는 화폐 이런 것들을 얘기하고요. 동전도 뭐 거의 알아볼 수 없을 정도로 훼손이 된 그런 동전들을 얘기하고 있습니다. 자, 오염됐다, contaminated.
Contaminated. We use this a lot when we talk about like water. If water has been contaminated, we
Yeah.
cannot drink it. But it means that it's been made impure by exposure to or addition of some sort of poisonous or polluting substance. But in this case, it means that it's been dirtied or it's been ruined or it's been damaged.
Yeah, exactly. 오염됐다라는 뜻으로 뭐 수질 오염 얘기할 때도 contamination이라는 표현 쓸 수 있는데 자, 여기서는 banknotes 지폐가요. 오염됐다라는 뜻으로 뭐 훼손되거나 오염된 화폐 영어로는 지금 damaged or contaminated banknotes라고 하고 있습니다. 자, 그다음에 이제 설명드렸다시피 지폐를 긴 쪽으로 나란히 늘어놓게 되면은 굉장히 이제 긴 게 되는데 이거를 영어로 표현할 수 있는 방법이 여러 가지예요, 사실은. 그 중에 하나 여기 stack together 보겠습니다.
Stack together. Stack, when you stack something, it means to pile something one on top of another. So when you stack together something or stack something together, it means to arrange things in a pile, one on top of the other. So for example, instead of shelving your books or putting your books on the shelf, you can stack your books one on top of each other on the table. My kids do this a lot.
Yeah.
I always tell them go put them on the bookshelf, go put them where they belong, but they usually just kind of throw them on the kitchen table in a big pile. If they stack them nicely, I usually don't say anything, but they don't even do that.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
자, 물론 이 stack together라는 것은 쌓아놓는 것을 얘기하기 때문에 우리 오늘 지폐와 관련된 뉴스에서는 부연 설명이 있지 않으면 좀 오해 소지도 있을 수 있겠어요. 왜냐하면 그냥 넓은 쪽으로 위에 그냥 차곡차곡 쌓아놓는 걸로 이 높이가 되진 않고요. 긴 쪽으로 해가지고 늘어놓게 됐을 때 이런 에베레스트 산의 23배 정도의 길이가 된다라는 건데 그걸 이제 stack together 하고 나서 좀 부연 설명을 하면 될 것 같아요. 보통은 지금 얘기한 대로 책이라든지 뭔가 그 위에다 그냥 쌓아놨을 때 there are lots of books stacked together. 대표적으로 그런 걸 쓸 것 같고
Yeah, or
아니면
you
뭐
can
서류,
stack chairs
chair,
or papers.
의자도
Yeah,
되네요.
yeah.
의자나 종이나 이런 것들
Yeah.
다 이렇게 쌓아놨을 때 they are stacked together 이렇게 표현을 할 수 있겠습니다. In this case, we're talking about the banknotes that are, I guess, lined next to each other.
Yeah, laid next to each
Laid
other.
next to each other.
Yeah, and then here, you're mentioning, you're saying that they're kind of Yeah,
Vertically.
Vertically. That's
Vertically.
hard to say.
They didn't really do this, but they're just
instead of
saying.
putting it horizontally,
Right.
they're doing it vertically. Yeah.
그렇죠. 실제로 뭐 어떻게 지폐를 이렇게 세로로 세워두면서 위쪽으로 이렇게 쌓아 올릴 수 있겠어요.
Yeah.
그거 못하죠.
Yeah.
그렇지만 그냥 가정을 하는 겁니다.
Yeah.
만약에 그렇게 한다 그런다면 이 정도의 길이가 된다. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The Bank of Korea discarded roughly 3.4 trillion won's worth of damaged or contaminated banknotes last year, which, if stacked together, would reach a height 23 times greater than Mount Everest.
Greece has dispatched special forces, rescue teams, tents, and drones to the island of Santorini after hundreds of seismic tremors were recorded in the area, fueling fears of a bigger earthquake that could cause a tsunami.
그리스 산토리니 섬에서 수백 회의 지진이 발생하면서 차후 더 큰 지진 및 쓰나미 우려가 제기되자 그리스 정부가 특별 재난 대응 부대와 구조팀, 텐트 그리고 드론을 섬으로 보냈습니다. Tell us more.
Oh, yeah. So this is, I'm sure, frightening news for a lot of people in the area. They say that a lot of these earthquakes are measuring 4 to 4.5 on the moment magnitude scale, with the strongest recorded in waters between Santorini and Amorgos. And the site of one of the largest volcanic eruptions in recorded history, Santorini is also Greece's most popular Aegean isle. I was there for my honeymoon, and I'm sure this news is causing a lot of people to wonder if they have plans to visit or if they have plans to go there for their honeymoon. Do I need to cancel? Do I need to replan this? And they attract an estimated 3.5 million tourists last year. So amid fears of a bigger earthquake that could cause a tsunami, people were advised to avoid the shoreline and derelict buildings. They were told to empty swimming pools and to refrain from gathering in large numbers in enclosed spaces. And the Civil Protection Ministry said schools would be shut as a precautionary measure. So why is this happening? Well, they say that Greece is sitting on multiple fault lines and is often rattled by earthquakes, but experts describe the increased seismic activity over the space of 48 hours with more than 200 tremors registered as dramatic, although they emphasize that the tremors had been triggered by tectonic rather than volcanic activity. So we will have to keep an eye out on what happens.
네, 한 사흘 안에 200회 이상의 그런 지진, 땅이 흔들리는 현상이 있었다고 합니다. 그래서 이제 더 큰 지진이나 쓰나미가 발생하지 않을까 우려가 되고 있는 상황이고요. 뭐 지금 말씀해 주신 것처럼 워낙에 유명한 관광지이다 보니까
Yep.
특히 신혼여행으로 많이 가는데 신혼여행을 취소해야 될까 이렇게 생각하는 관광객들도 많이 있는 모양입니다. 우려할 만하죠. 자, seismic이라는 표현 볼까요?
Yes, seismic. So seismic is spelled S-E-I-S-M-I-C, and this word relates to earthquakes. So seismic tremors. Tremors is kind of like a small shake. So when we're talking about seismic tremors, it means like a small earthquake that causes the ground to shake slightly.
seismic라는 게 지진에 의한 것이다라는 의미예요. 이게 비유적으로 썼을 때는 뭐 굉장하다 이렇게 쓸 수도 있겠지만 여기서는 말 그대로 지진에 의한 흔들림, seismic tremors 굉장히 많이 발생했고요. This has been fueling fears.
Right. So when something fuels fear, it means that it makes the fear stronger or it makes a situation worse.
그렇죠. fuel이라는 게 여기서는 동사로 쓰였는데 기름을 붓는 것이 결국은 뭔가를 촉발시킨다 이렇게 해석을 할 수도 있겠죠.
Yeah.
그래서 우려를 촉발시키거나 증폭하는 것이라고 볼 수 있겠습니다. fear에다가 기름을 붓는 거 이런 이미지로 이해하시면 되겠어요. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. Greece has dispatched special forces, rescue teams, tents, and drones to the island of Santorini after hundreds of seismic tremors were recorded in the area, fueling fears of a bigger earthquake that could cause a tsunami. All right, let's move on to the next headline.
U.S. authorities have begun clearing ash and debris from homes burned in the Los Angeles wildfires, but media outlets say government red tape could delay the process for up to 18 months despite a federal program covering cleanup costs.
미국 당국이 로스앤젤레스 산불 피해를 입은 주택들의 재와 잔해를 치우는 철거 및 정리 작업에 들어갔습니다. 현지 언론은 해당 비용이 연방 프로그램으로 충당 가능하지만 정부 관료주의로 인해 정작 작업은 최장 18개월까지도 걸릴 수 있다고 보도했습니다. Right, so it's already been weeks since we heard about these fires, and now they've started to clear the debris.
Right. So a federal program, it's been implemented. It's going to pay contractors to haul away all the rubble at no cost to residents. But it's they're saying that it's going to take a while. They're going to have to work through a lot of different layers of bureaucracy, including the Los Angeles County government, the Federal Army Corps of Engineers, and the Environmental Protection Agency in order for this to be done. And this means that homeowners can either pay out of pocket for the costly removal or potentially just wait more than a year before they can finally rebuild. And this whole the wildfire situation, it's wiped out around 12,000 homes, businesses, and other buildings before fire crews were finally able to contain it. And residents, they've been forced to don these hazmat suits. They've been digging through potentially toxic ash in search of valuables, mementos. In one case, they found the remains of a beloved family dog. It's a very serious situation out there. So hopefully they'll be able to cut through some of this red tape, maybe get this done a little bit faster. But they say that there are other worries because there are swindlers out there trying to con these people who are already going through a really different time, saying that they can, get this done faster for you. So they're having like many different layers of difficulties to work through.
Exactly. Now, red tape means bureaucracy, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Right. So red tape, it's a series of actions or complicated tasks that seem unnecessary, but that a government or organization requires you to do in order to get or to do something.
자, 관료주의, bureaucracy를 또 다른 말로 red tape라고 합니다. Probably because there was actually some red tape on all of these documents in the past, and you had to go through all of them, and it was just such a tedious process.
Right.
But when you hear red tape, you should think of bureaucracy.
Right.
불필요한 요식, 관료주의 이런 걸 얘기하고 있습니다. And that is delaying the process.
Right. So when something delays the process, so delay means to make someone or something late or slow. So it means to make a process take longer than originally planned or expected. And in this case, I think it does make sense that it will take some time because there's going to be a lot of money involved in getting everything back to normal. I don't know if it will ever actually be back to normal, but to get everything, cleared up, rebuilt, it's going to take time and it is going to take a lot of effort and money.
그래요. Delay the process는 과정을 지연시킨다라는 뜻이 되겠고, 우리 공항에서도 이제 항공편이 지연됐을 때 영어로는 delayed 이렇게 나오죠. 우리말로는 그냥 지연 이렇게 나오는 것 같습니다. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. U.S. authorities have begun clearing ash and debris from homes burnt in the Los Angeles wildfires, but media outlets say government red tape could delay the process for up to 18 months, despite a federal program covering cleanup costs. Let's move on to the final headline.
Beyoncé has won her first Grammy for Album of the Year with Cowboy Carter, which also earned Best Country Album, making her the first black woman to win in the latter category.
미국 팝스타 비욘세가 앨범 카우보이 카터로 그래미 시상식에서 생애 첫 올해 앨범 상을 수상했습니다. 비욘세는 같은 앨범으로 컨트리 앨범 부문도 수상을 했는데 흑인 여성이 이 부문을 수상한 건 이번이 처음입니다.
Yeah.
When we think of country music in America, well, for me anyway, I think of Caucasian
Yeah, white
people,
people.
white people with
Southern,
cowboy
yeah,
hats and
Texas,
sort of
yeah.
twang in
Yeah,
their accents.
yeah.
Howdy, you
Cowboy
know.
boots,
yeah, exactly.
horses.
Dolly Parton is, of course, iconic. Taylor Swift started off as a
Yeah.
country singer as well.
Yeah.
But now Beyonce.
Now Beyonce. So she finally won her first Grammy for Album of the Year. I think she's been previously passed over for the ceremony's main prize on 4 separate occasions. So it was a great day for her. But also, it was a big deal because she won for this category that
Yeah.
no other Black woman has won before. As her name was read out, she hugged her daughter, Blue Ivy, who was there, and then her husband, Jay-Z, before walking onto the stage to accept the trophy. She dedicated this award to Linda Martell, one of the pioneers for Black musicians in country music and the first Black woman to perform solo at the Grand Ole Opry. So the star's victory comes 25 years after her first Grammy nomination as part of the R&B group Destiny's Child. She went on to become the most awarded artist in Grammy's history with a haul of 35 trophies, but it's kind of amazing that she hasn't won the main prize until
Yeah.
this time.
Yeah.
And notably, it makes Beyonce the first Black woman to win Album of the Year since 1999, when Lauryn Hill's The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill took the title.
I've watched a lot of entertainment programs and noticed that a lot of journalists call her pop royalty, sort of
Yeah.
like American pop royalty.
Yeah.
So even though America doesn't have a king or a queen or a princess, Beyonce is that.
I would say that
Yeah.
she definitely
And it's not just pop and ballads and R&B, now even country music.
different genres. Yes, she's I don't know what else there's left for her to win.
Rock.
Maybe.
I don't know.
She might have one. I don't know.
I'm not
'Cause She
sure.
has 35 trophies.
Right. Let's have a look at the expression to earn.
Right, to earn. So when we usually think of earn, we think of like earning money. But in this case, it's talking about winning or gaining something that you deserve to get.
EARN, earn이라는 것은 무언가를 받을 만한 자격이 돼서 받을 때 쓰는 표현입니다. 그러니까 예를 들자면은 deserve와도 함께 많이 쓸 수
Yeah.
있는데 you deserve this, you earned this 이렇게 얘기를 하면 너 이거 받을 만해 라는 의미가 되거든요. 여기서는 she earned best country album. 이걸 아주 그냥 단순하게 해석을 할 수도 있겠죠. 베스트 컨트리 앨범을 받았습니다. 그래서 그냥 받다, 수상하다 이렇게 해석할 수도 있지만 그 의미 안에는 받을만 했다라는 게 꼭 들어있는 것 같아요.
Yep.
자, 그다음에 우리가 뭐 돈을 벌다 할 때도 I earn money라고 하잖아요. 네, 그거는
Like
이제-
she earns a salary of such and such amount.
네, 왜냐하면 거기에 들어가는 나의 노력이 있기 때문에
Of course.
네, 받을 만한 마땅한 뭐 월급이나 연봉 이런 의미로도 쓸 수 있고요.
Yeah. And you also use it when we talk about like respect. You
Ah,
earn
that's a
someone's
good one.
respect.
맞네요. You earn someone's respect는 사람들의 존경을 받는 건데 그게 받을만 하니까 받는 거겠죠. 뭐 당연한 얘기지만. 자, 그다음에 latter category.
Yeah, so latter, it always comes with like former latter. It comes together. And latter is always used before a noun. So it means coming or happening near the end of a process, activity, series, life, etc. So we mean it's later.
Yeah. 전자와 후자를 영어로는 the former and the latter라고 합니다. Latter 이렇게 씁니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Beyonce has won her first Grammy for Album of the Year with Cowboy Carter, which also earned Best Country Album, making her the first black woman to win in the latter category. All right, that's it for the headlines with Karen.
Korea's consumer price index rose for the 3rd straight month in January, climbing above the 2% mark for the first time in 5 months due to international oil prices and the won-dollar exchange rate.
1월 국내 소비자 물가 지수가 국제 유가 및 원달러 환율 영향으로 5개월 만에 2% 넘게 상승하면서 3개월 연속 오름세를 나타냈습니다. Tell us more, Ray.
Well, Statistics Korea said on Wednesday that the country's consumer price index rose by 2.2% compared to a year earlier. And this actually marks the largest year-over-year increase since July of last year when the index rose 2.6%. Now, Korea's inflation has remained below 3% since April and below the central bank's 2% target since September. However, as we see the 3 straight months of rising costs now. And what is that being attributed to? Mainly rising energy prices, as well as the depreciation of the Korean won. Yeah, and depreciation relative to the US dollar.
자, 원달러 환율의 영향이라고만 헤드라인에 나와 있지만 사실상 이제 원화가 약하죠. 달러가 강세를 보이고 있고 그럴 때는 depreciation이라는 단어를 써서 가치가 하락했다. 반대는 appreciation이라는 말이 있는데 그때는 이제 가치가 올랐을 때 쓰는 말이고요. Of course, in this case, I don't know if you would say because of the appreciation of the US dollar, but I mean, you know, the strong US dollar, right?
This is kind of the one confusing thing about currencies is you can only ever compare two currencies. You can
Yeah.
compare baskets of currencies as well, but
Yeah.
in this case, the US dollar appreciated against the won.
Yeah.
The won depreciated against the dollar because you're only comparing those two currencies.
그럼 상대적으로 말할 때는 원달러에 비해서 그 원달러가 아니죠. 원화에 비해서 미달러가 가치가 상승했다. 이렇게 말할 수 있겠네요. So the US dollar has appreciated against the Korean won. 반대로 the Korean won has depreciated against the US dollar. 그런 영향도 있고요. Energy prices, 유가, 국제 유가가 굉장히 높기 때문에 그것도 역시 하나의 요인이 되겠습니다.
Right, in January, petroleum product prices jumped 7.3%. Again, the largest year-over-year increase since July.
Yeah, exactly. Let's look at the expression to climb above something.
Climb above something. Well, we can look at it in the literal sense. If you're rock climbing or mountain climbing, you might climb above something.
Sure.
Or if you're climbing a tree, for example. But in this case, it's more figurative. So we're talking about rising or moving higher. Again, there's always that climbing above something. We're moving up. So we're talking about a rate going above some level or some limit. In this case, we're looking at that 2% mark.
Yeah.
That threshold.
Were you a tree climber as a kid?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
No, I wasn't very good.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I don't know, I pictured you climbing up trees and
I wanted to
building a tree
always,
house.
but my friend and I had a tree house.
You did?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was cool. But we had like a ladder that climbed up, like, we could get up into
Sure.
it.
Of course.
Yeah.
climb이라는 게 이렇게 뭔가를 타 오른다. 나무를 타고 올라가는 것도 climbing을 쓰고요. 그다음에 우리가 암벽 등반할 때도 climbing을 쓸 수 있는데 자, 여기서는 수치입니다. 숫자가 올라갔어요. 그때도 동사 climb을 쓸 수가 있는 거죠. So many different verbs are used in business news to talk
Right.
about going up.
Right, and climbing above something, like you can use that for anything. You can talk about the temperatures climbing, temperature climbed above a certain level. You can talk about sales in business climbing above. And again, we're always talking about certain levels. You climb above something, what
Yeah.
is it? It's a target, an estimate. So this is earnings season in a lot of companies are giving their earnings from Q4. So a lot of times the companies that they beat the street's expectations, they climbed above estimates. Now their stock prices all go up after, usually.
아하, 그래요. 이게 climb above something이라고 하면은 요 기준치를 넘어섰다라는 뜻이 되겠죠. 자, 2%를 넘어선 소비자 물가를 말하고 있습니다. 지난 몇 개월 동안 계속 1%대였거든요. 마지막으로 2%를 기록했던 게 지난 8월, 그리고 2% 넘었던 거는 7월입니다. 2.6%인데 그다음에 이제 좀 낮은 소비자 물가 추이를 보이다가 이번에 다시 또 올라갔어요. What about the $1 exchange rate?
So here we're looking at the amount of won it costs per dollar. So when this rate increases, that actually means the won is depreciating.
Yeah.
So I looked back. So earlier this year, it would cost about 1,300 won for $1. Now you're looking at sort of like 1,400 or even like what Oship won. Like, so it's going, now it costs you more won to buy $1. You can flip it. You could look at the dollar won exchange rate and that would be falling,
Yeah.
meaning now it costs you less US dollars to buy the same amount of Korean currency.
그래요. 우리는 이제 보통 원달러 환율로 얘기를 하죠. 1달러가 이제 몇 원인지. 그래서 그 1,400에서 지금 한 대략 1,450 정도로 올랐기 때문에 이건 이제 원화의 가치가 떨어졌다라고 해석을 할 수 있는 거죠. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Korea's consumer price index rose for the third straight month in January, climbing above the 2% mark for the first time in 5 months due to international oil prices and the $1 exchange rate. Let's move on to the next headline.
More than 10 tons of kimchi were seized last year from passengers' carry-on luggage during security screenings at Incheon International Airport and subsequently donated to welfare facilities.
지난해 인천국제공항 출국 검사에서 여객 휴대 수화물을 통해 10톤이 넘는 김치가 압수된 것으로 나타났습니다. 이 김치는 후에 여객 포기물품으로 분류돼 복지시설에 기부됐습니다. Now, you were out of the country. Did you take any kimchi with you?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so none of it was
I don't think
confiscated
anyone
then.
should take kimchi on airplanes. People might.
I understand why Koreans would take kimchi though,
Yeah.
because they miss
Yeah, but
authentic Korean
Right,
food.
but put it in your checked luggage. Don't take it in your carry-on luggage. That's
yeah.
the problem.
That
and
is
if
the
you do
problem.
open your bag up, people who don't understand the kimchi
It
smell
smells, yeah.
probably think your stomach isn't doing so well.
Okay. So let's get into this then. So why was so much kimchi confiscated?
I guess because Korean people were trying to take kimchi in their luggage. And it wasn't only kimchi. So it was 10.7 tons of kimchi was confiscated last year. Now, this is I found funny. So a single kimchi cabbage weighs approximately 3 kilograms. So that adds up to 3,500 kimchi cabbages that were confiscated
Wow.
last year. And other things were also confiscated. Over 10 tons of sauces like gochujang and soy sauce, ganjang. Also, they're saying over 30 metric tons of other food like rice and fruit. So that's quite interesting.
The reason is because of the liquid in it, right? Because if you take dry foods, oftentimes it's fine.
Okay.
But if you take anything with more than 100 milliliters
Right.
of liquid in it, it's actually, I mean, it normally applies to other things.
Creams and stuff like
yeah,
same with
creams,
sauces
lotions.
though. Sauce is the same.
Yeah.
It's in the same category for sure.
And that's why the kimchi was confiscated.
Yeah, and it's funny because I had a student years ago who told me she studied in Vancouver for a while, and then her mom came to visit her. This was years ago, right? Over 20 years ago. Her mom came to visit her, and they wanted to take a trip down to Seattle. It's really close. And when they crossed the border, they went through her mom's bag, and there was all this like gochujang and all this stuff, and the border guards are like, "What is this?" They didn't know what it was, and they
Yeah.
took it all, and she almost got in trouble for it.
Yeah, exactly. 자, 이렇게 많은 양의 김치가 압수된 이유, 바로 액체류, 그 김치 국물이 있잖아요. 액체류 때문입니다. 기내 반입에 그 액체 제한이 있는 거 잘 알고 계시죠? 그래가지고 로션이라든지 스킨 뭐 이런 화장품 가져갈 때도 제한이 있고 치약도 마찬가지고 그런데 이 김치까지는 많은 여행객들이 생각을 못 하셨나 봐요. 그래서 액체류 반입은 기내 반입의 경우 이제 100ml까지만 되는데 그걸 초과한 많은 김치를 들고 가신 분들 다 압수당했습니다. But then it was, donated to welfare facilities, so free kimchi for people who needed it.
Who need it, right?
Yeah.
It said that they use this a lot in their meal prep, so it didn't go to waste,
No,
which
it
is
didn't.
good to hear.
맞아요. 그래서 버려지지 않았고 복지시설에 김치가 기부됐다고 합니다. Let's have a look at, first of all, carry-on luggage. 이게 이제 기내 반입하는 그런 물품들이 되겠고요. Security screening.
So that's when you go through those. You line up, and then a security guard, checks your bag. They check you. That you go through a metal detector. They're checking to make sure you're not bringing any items on board. Usually this is at airports, right?
Yeah.
You're making sure you're not bringing anything dangerous on board. But also you'll see security screenings at big events, at sports stadiums a lot of the time. They'll
맞아요.
check your bag. Sometimes they'll do metal detectors.
보안 검색을 영어로 security screening이라고 하고요. Subsequently라는 단어도 한번 볼까요?
So subsequently just means afterward. So there's some event and then what happens after. So usually it's the thing that happened now happened because or a result of that first event.
그래요.
So usually I would say, I was stuck in traffic and subsequently missed my dentist appointment, for example.
그렇죠. 이후에, 나중에라는 뜻이거든요. 그래서 subsequently 이러이러한 일이 발생했다. 나중에 이렇게 됐다. So the kimchi that was seized or confiscated was subsequently donated to welfare facilities. And it doesn't say it in the English, but, the kimchi was considered items that people gave up, essentially.
Sure.
Because, you're not going to take it back.
That's what happens when you're
Yeah.
in the lineup. They say like you're not allowed to take it back. Like no, they just take it from you.
That's
That's how
it.
it works.
Yeah, exactly.
When I was coming back, I didn't realize I had a bottle of water in my bag, and it was
you
more
can't-
than 100
milliliters,
Yeah, and
yeah.
they took it from me, and I
Sure,
was like,
that's what happens.
can I just drink it right now? I'm dehydrated. They're like, no, you took it past this
Oh,
line.
they didn't
No.
even let you drink it.
No, because they test it to make sure there's no like drugs in it.
Oh, right, of course. And sometimes you can have liquid bombs as well. So that's
guess, yeah.
that's why I think that was the trigger
Yeah.
after 9/11, 20-something years
When
ago.
all the liquid stuff changed, right? That's right.
제 기억으로도 그때부터 이렇게 액체 반입에 대한 엄격한 기준이 전 세계적으로 세워졌던 것 같아요. 그래서 실제로 이렇게 김치가 이제 포기 물품으로 분류가 되고 그다음에 기부가 됐습니다. 다시 한번 제가 읽어볼게요. More than 10 tons of kimchi were seized last year from passengers' carry-on luggage during security screenings at Incheon International Airport and subsequently donated to welfare facilities.
Heavy snowfall has disrupted traffic and air travel in Japan's northernmost main island of Hokkaido after a record-breaking 1.2 meters of snow fell in just 12 hours.
일본 본토 중 최북단에 위치한 홋카이도 지역에 폭설이 내려 교통이 마비되고 항공편 운항에 차질이 빚어졌습니다. 이번 눈은 단 12시간 만에 120cm가 쌓이면서 일본 관측 역사상 최고 강설량을 기록했습니다. That's a lot of snow.
That is a lot of snow, record-breaking. So this
Yeah.
means they've never seen this amount. 1.2 meters of snow fell in just 12 hours in the city of Obihiro, which I'm not too familiar. I know Hokkaido, not
Okay.
so familiar with Obihiro, but wow, what an amount of snow. Around 370 schools were closed because of the
I'll
result, which I remember those days. Those were back in Canada.
You
those were
enjoyed
fun.
those days.
Snow day.
Snow day,
You had to
yeah.
listen to the radio,
Yeah.
and then they would announce which schools were closed. And when I heard schools in York region are closed, snow day.
Isn't it
was the
funny
best.
how children and adults view these things differently?
Oh,
For
I
adults,
know.
it's, oh no, there's so much snow. How am I going to get around? For kids, it's like, yay.
Yeah, and also the parents are like, I still got to go to work, and all these kids are at home, right? So that was the other problem too, right?
Exactly. But we're talking about a lot of snow.
Right,
Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
saying that this low pressure will continue and will continue to bring blizzards to parts of northern Japan for the remainder of the week.
This has disrupted traffic.
Sure, and air travel.
yeah.
And so when you disrupt something, it means that some event or activity, a process, whatever it is, a class, a radio show, whatever it is interrupted because there's some disturbance or some problem. So things don't flow normally.
disrupt라는 게 방해하다라는 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 heavy snowfall has disrupted traffic and air travel. 교통에 지장을 줬다 이런 뜻이 되겠죠. And northernmost means what?
The point or place that is the farthest north. So, and you can change this. You can do southernmost
Yep.
as well. So I know you're really familiar with Korea's southernmost island of Jeju. Right.
And of course, the easternmost island,
Sure.
we have Dokdo.
Exactly.
And Ulleungdo, of course.
And you can even talk about
yeah.
the northernmost, easternmost, westernmost province. You can even do that as well.
Yeah, 그래요. Northernmost is one word, and it means the point that is the most
North.
north.
The most north.
It's at the northern
Yeah,
point, I guess.
that's right.
가장 북쪽에 있는이라는 뜻입니다. 자, 그러면은 제가 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Heavy snowfall has disrupted traffic and air travel in Japan's northernmost main island of Hokkaido after a record-breaking 1.2 meters of snow fell in just 12 hours. Let's move on to the next headline.
Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa is set to receive a dedicated room at the Louvre as part of a major renovation and expansion of the Paris landmark, a project expected to take up to 10 years.
레오나르도 다빈치의 모나리자가 앞으로 파리 루브르 박물관 내 전용 전시실에 설치될 예정입니다. 이는 박물관의 대대적인 보수 및 확장 공사의 일환으로 공사는 향후 최대 10년이 걸릴 것으로 예상되고 있습니다. Tell us more.
Well, French President Emmanuel Macron made this announcement on Tuesday. This renovation project is called, or has been branded as the Louvre New Renaissance. So that it'll include a new entrance near the River Seine, and also the creation of these underground rooms. And as it mentions in the headline, it's not expected to be open until 2031.
Okay.
Now, Macron did not disclose the cost of this, but estimates have it running into upwards of 800 million euros, actually. They need to modernize this museum. A lot of people talk about it being very overcrowded and outdated, and it is the world's most visited museum. I've never been. Maybe you can speak on that.
Yeah.
Does it feel outdated? Did you feel back then it needed?
No, actually. Well, there were so many people, I couldn't really have a proper look around.
Oh, really? Okay.
I was just in awe of all of the masterpieces. But then with the Mona Lisa, there's so many people in front of it. It's very hard to take a proper look. And it's also not as big as you might think. It's actually
Sure.
quite small.
Right.
So someone short like me has a hard time, bobbing their head up and trying to have a look at this, picture.
Yeah.
And then you have to move along because there are people behind
How
you.
long do you get to look at it usually? Is it quickly?
I don't think you have, like a time restriction, but people are moving.
So you feel
have
like you need
you're
to,
like being
right.
pushed along, sort of. But Macron, when he made this announcement, he was in front of the Mona Lisa and there's no one else there. So I got a better look at the Mona Lisa through this press conference in Korea, watching it on the internet,
Right.
than I did
Being there.
in person,
Right.
actually. All right, so let's have a look at a dedicated room.
So what this means is there'll be an actual room that is set aside, or I'm assuming specifically designed for the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
So this room that we're in right now, it's a dedicated room for broadcasting. In many hotels, they'll have dedicated rooms for business meetings. It'll be equipped with all the technology. There'll be TVs, and you can hook up your computers to it.
Sure. dedicated room이라는 것은 전용 방이라는 뜻입니다. 그러니까 여기서 말하는 것은 전시실인데 전용 전시실이겠죠? And a landmark.
A landmark, a building or a place that's easily recognizable, and usually one that you can see a lot of the time. Maybe from sometimes for me. One I always think of is Namsan Tower.
Yeah.
Because you can see it from almost anywhere in Seoul.
That's right.
You kind of know where you are. But other times, landmarks, you could say, meet me by, let's meet at the CN Tower. I'm going to use a Toronto example. Something like that. Something where people know where it is. Or if you can see it, you can judge where you are.
주요 지형지물을 우리가 랜드마크라고 하죠. 그래서 이제 파리 하면은 이 피라미드 모양의 루브르 박물관이 아주 대표적인 그런 랜드마크라고 할 수 있을 텐데 그 보수공사로 인해서 루브르 박물관 내에 있는 모나리자가 전용 전시실에 옮겨지게 됩니다. All right, here's the headline again. Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa is set to receive a dedicated room at the Louvre as part of a major renovation and expansion of the Paris landmark, a project expected to take up to 10 years. Now let's move on to our final headline.
An egg shortage in the U.S. caused by the worst bird flu outbreak in a decade has prompted a 24/7 restaurant chain to introduce a 50-cent per egg surcharge to manage rising costs.
미국에서 10년 만에 최악의 조류 인플루엔자 확산 사태로 인해 달걀 부족 현상이 일어나자 미국의 한 24시간 영업 식당 체인이 비용 상승에 대응하기 위해 앞으로 달걀 한 개당 50센트의 추가 요금을 받겠다고 발표했습니다. Now, I'm not familiar with this particular chain.
I've never been, but I've heard of it. It's very,
okay.
very famous.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I think in the southern U.S., it's very, very popular.
So they sell waffles there?
Yeah, and fried chicken.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a thing. Like a lot of, in the southern states, they eat waffles and fried chicken together.
Oh.
With syrup.
Like the chicken on the waffle?
Yeah, with
With
syrup.
syrup?
Yeah.
Wow. I've never tried that
Neither
combo.
have I. Neither have I, but
Well, now
my
you're gonna-
American friends rave about it.
Well, now you're going to have to pay a little extra for the eggs
For
that
some
go
eggs,
into it.
yeah, no, exactly. So they're talking about this bird flu a lot. So this led to the slaughter of millions of chickens, and this pushed U.S. egg prices to more than double what they cost in the summer of 2023. And we all know inflation is still sticky in the U.S., so this is just one more thing that is going to put pressure on households, pressure on people because of the cost of eggs now. And they're saying it doesn't appear to be any relief in sight. Now, this this restaurant chain said they're going to continue to monitor the situation, and if they can eventually lower the price or get rid of the surcharge, they'll do so. But that kind of remains to be seen. The U.S. Agriculture Department, they predict egg prices are going to soar another 20% this year.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like they'll be removing this surcharge anytime soon.
Well, this egg shortage has prompted this restaurant to introduce the surcharge.
So when something prompts you to do something, it's what causes you to do it. It
Yeah.
causes you to take action. It causes you to make a decision or to respond. It triggers a reaction.
A prompts B. A 때문에 B가 일어나는 거죠. 지금 계란이 부족하기 때문에 그래서 추가 요금이 부과가 되는 겁니다.
The easiest word is caused. You can
Yeah.
look at it that way as well.
That's right.
Or
And what
led to.
That's right. What is a surcharge?
It's an additional charge or fee that's added to the regular price of something. A lot of times, we're talking about air travel a lot. If your bag is too heavy, even a little bit too heavy, or if you have an extra bag, of course, you have to pay a surcharge.
한 단어고요. surcharge 추가 요금입니다.
I think some taxis too, if you cross city lines, there's a surcharge in some places.
Yep. 자, 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. An egg shortage in the US caused by the worst bird flu outbreak in a decade has prompted a 24/7 restaurant chain to introduce a 50-cent per egg surcharge to manage rising costs. Well, that's it for our headlines with Ray.